You can't just ignore this. I demand answers now. You can't just barge in here.
Arch and Agragin. I'll barge in wherever I please to get answers.
In the idyllic suburb of Meadowbrook Heights, life seemed like a postcard from the American dream. Nestled in a planned community of exactly 47 families, the neighborhood boasted tree-lined streets, identical mailboxes gleaming under the sun, and lawns manicured to perfection, all enforced by the ironclad rules of the Homeowners Association, HOA. It was the kind of place where neighbors waved from their driveways. Children rode bikes until the streetlights flickered on, and community events brought everyone together like one big happy family. For Sean Matthews, a 38-year-old American history teacher at Lincoln High School, and his wife Jane Stone, a 40-year-old law enforcement professional who kept her career under wraps, this was supposed to be their slice of suburban paradise after 8 months of settling in. Sean had always prided himself on his ability to spot deception. 15 years of teaching teenagers had honed his instincts. Like a detective's magnifying glass, those sweet smiles often hid the biggest schemes, he'd say, but even he wasn't prepared for the web of lies unraveling right next door. Jane, with her practical demeanor and quiet strength, preferred privacy. Nobody wants their evening walks interrupted by questions about traffic tickets, she'd joke. Married for 12 years, they thought they'd found stability here, away from the chaos of city life and Sean's daily battles with hormonal adolescence. Enter Haley Sanders, the HOA president for the past 4 years. To the residents of Meadowbrook Heights, Haley was a guardian angel. She organized charity drives that raised thousands for local food banks, mediated disputes with the wisdom of a therapist, and even helped elderly neighbors with groceries and yard work. If you had a problem, Haley knew about it before you did and had a solution ready. Looking back, that should have been the first red flag. Nobody's that helpful without an agenda. But in the moment, her kindness felt genuine, a balm in the structured world of HOA regulations. The trouble began on a crisp Tuesday morning in October. Tucked into their mailbox like any ordinary piece of mail was a notice that shattered the illusion. On professional letterhead, complete with detailed photographs from multiple angles and citations from city ordinances about residential mailbox. Height requirements. It demanded $500 for their mailbox being 2 inches too tall. The documentation was so thorough, so official-looking, that Sean's first instinct was guilt. Had they really overlooked some obscure rule in their haste to unpack? Over breakfast, Jane's reaction was measured. Pick your battles, Sean. $500 isn't worth a neighborhood war. But something gnawed at him. News, disaster for her. Ethics complaint on Frank. Dismissed. Her investigated. Patience key. Document, no rage. Media, national cable news. Interview, lies exposed, a Karen lies trended. Crowdfund, $150,000. License suspended. Board resigned. Insurance canceled. Divorce, forged signatures. Moving trucks, values crashed. Porch, from isolated to movement center. Almost pity. Karen's gambits. Mental health petition. Paranoid weapons. Psychologist, stable, resilient, weaponized services. EPA complaint, hazard false. Inspector praised sustainability. Eminent domain, laughed out. No authority. Sheriff, false extremism report. Felony warning. Psych report, her paranoid. EPA complaint filed. County, abuse probe. Evidence package, 847 pages. Sovereignty, deeds questionable. Support, banners, vigils, honors, workshops. Board removed her. Foreclosure. Divorce evidence, conspiracy. Rebecca Series awarded. Legislation. 12 states, Jake's Law in Colorado. Workshop evening. Certainty. Justice prevails. The next morning, Jane left for work with a grim expression, her mind racing through possibilities. She'd spent the night dissecting the camera, noting details, quizzing Sean on Haley's unusual attention. But neither anticipated Haley's next move. At 9:30 a.m., Sean's phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Emergency HOA meeting tonight. 7:00 p.m. Community Center. Critical Community Safety Concerns. HS. Gut instinct screamed ambush. Like a teen calling a study group to plot against a teacher. They arrived expecting a dozen attendees for a quiet discussion. Instead, 32 families crammed the room usually reserved for book clubs and yoga. Massive turnout. People who skipped regular meetings now obsessed with safety. Red flag! Haley stood front and center, clipboard in hand, checking names like a director. Her sweet smile hid something cold, calculating. "Thank you for coming on short notice," she began, voice dripping concern. Troubling issues about security and compliance. Jane tensed. This wasn't discussion. It was execution. Haley continued. Reports of surveillance equipment discovered, raising privacy and safety questions. Murmurs rippled. Heads turned. Sean realized with horror. They were the only confused ones. Everyone else knew the script. Haley had prepped them. Linda, 3 houses down, stood first. "I'm worried about surveillance in our neighborhood. How do we know our families are safe?" Nods. Marcus followed. "Some residents refuse standards. Thinking they're above rules creates problems. More agreement." Sean watched, fascinated and horrified. Hands raised precisely when Haley nodded. Choreographed, like a classroom rebellion he'd quelled 1,000 times. Teacher mode activated. Sean stood. "Since we're discussing standards, let's talk illegal surveillance." He held up the camera. "Planted behind our window. Professional grade, needs permits. Who's watching our families without permission?" Shock rippled through some. Doubt in others. Haley's mask slipped. Fury flashed before the smile returned. "Reasonable explanation," she said tightly. "Concern about break-ins." Sean pressed. "Reasonable for equipment costing thousands. Requiring credentials? How many think it's okay to record private family talks?" The room fractured. Marcus whispered to Linda, "I never said that about standards." Uncomfortable shifts. Manipulation dawning. Haley played victim. "I'm protecting us. Someone's intimidating residents following procedures. Camera could frame me after the legitimate fine." Buzzing conversations. Divide forming. Some bought it, others questioned. Jane squeezed Sean's hand, pride mixed with tension. This transcended drama. Professional equipment meant real threat. Meeting ended abruptly. Haley needed to consult authorities. As people filed out, reactions split. Some avoided eye contact. Others lingered, troubled. Marcus approached in the parking lot. "Sean, I swear I never worried about your rules. She asked me to speak. Thought it was general maintenance." Confirmation. Haley coached specifics, faking concern. Watching Haley call someone discreetly. "Accelerate timeline." "They're a problem. Camera discovered early." Pause. "How long before she figures out who I really am?" Sean grabbed Jane. They strained but missed more. Walking to the car, one question burned. If Haley wasn't who she seemed, who was? 24 hours later, Haley pounded on their door. Urgency replacing sweetness. Fine must be paid today. No exceptions. Jane, from her home office, replied calmly. Researched ordinance. Selectively enforced. Filing appeal. Haley's mask cracked. Cold fury, then fake smile. She checked her phone obsessively, deadline-driven. "You don't understand," she said dangerously. Consequences for not following procedures. Jane stepped up, authoritative. "Threatening us, Haley?" Tension peaked. Haley dialed 911. Officers immediately. Residents aggressive about enforcement. Concerned for safety. Brilliant manipulation. Not crime, but safety issue triggering response. She knew emergency protocols intimately. Jane and Sean exchanged glances. Calculated. But what next? Officer Miller arrived in 8 minutes, young and professional. Haley launched Victim Act. "Thank you, officer." They're refusing compliance, becoming threatening. Miller nodded, turned to Jane for statement. Recognition struck. "Commander Stone?" "Ma'am, I didn't expect you." Haley collapsed. Clipboard dropped, stumbled back. Power shifted. Jane surprised but professional. "Hello, Miller. What's the complaint?" Sean thought, like a student ratting to the principal's boss. Drama escalated. Officer Johnson as backup. Same reaction. "Commander Stone? Everything all right?" Radio chatter spread. Commander Stone over channels. Wildfire through 156 officers. Haley's panic built. Plan crumbling. She hysterically. "Don't care her job. Rules for everyone." Hands shook. Facade gone. Officers exchanged glances. HOA dispute civil, ma'am. Police for crimes, not fines. Jane's phone rang. Colleagues checking in. Haley heard fragments, realizing she'd exposed Jane to the department she feared. Miller. Complaint involving command staff notifies supervisors. Terror in Haley's eyes. Maybe work neighborly. Too late, protocols rolling. As officers left discussing commander's HOA drama, story spread department-wide. Evening call from Captain Morrison. Stone, half department talking. My office 8 a.m. discuss image. Jane hung haunted. What if never about mailbox? What if someone wanted every cop knowing where I live? Instead of retreating, Haley weaponized the exposure. Everyone knew Jane was a commander. Over 48 hours, she launched a whisper campaign rivaling McCarthy's Red Scare. Diabolical, she didn't attack directly. Planted doubt via concerned chats. Worry about police surveillance in our peaceful community. Escalates when authority challenged. Linda fell first, echoing Haley verbatim at the mailbox. Inappropriate for off-duty. Police to intimidate over issues. Virus spreading. Haley leveraged police overreach fears, privacy anxieties. Jane's integrity became corruption-proof. Fine refusal, authority abuse. Isolation hit hard. Waving neighbors vanished indoors. Conversations halted at their approach. Jog partners excused creatively. Henderson's forgot barbecue invite. Social death time lapse. Orchestrated by a psychological master. Jane hid hurt, but confusion showed. 15 years of fairness, now corrupt cop caricature. Sean wouldn't let Haley win. Classroom warfare prep. Seen kids turn classes against subs via rumors. He fought back, door to door with evidence. History lesson style. Methodical facts, no attacks. Photos of camera, selective finds, Haley's contradictions. Some listened, others sided. Professional attack serious. Morrison's discussion on relations image. Rumors of intimidation, corruption complaints. Jane home shaken, not suspended but scrutiny. More complaints, internal affairs. Haley's strategy, destroy career, not just misery. Marcus allied 3 days post-incident. Something's not right. Haley wanted aggressive behavior reports, never saw any. Documented non-interactions. Notebook, months of requests on Jane's schedule, work materials. Thought neighborly but wrong. Then Detective Walsh inquiries. Financial crimes, casual probes on Jane's policing attitude, civilian relations. Coincidence, transferred to Division 6 months ago, move-in week. Sean to Jane. Odds? None. No coincidences in police or teaching. Obsession grew. Sean turned classroom dynamics on neighborhood. Small gatherings for open families, evidence timelines. Questions. Why plant camera? Selective sight? Coached speeches? Built resistance. Johnson's, Morales. Mrs. Patterson. Evidence over emotion. Good neighbors pre-crisis. Haley escalated. Neighborhood safety patrol. Badges, walkie-talkies. Watch meetings on concerning behaviors. Atmosphere. Everyone watching, normal, suspicious. Police state, her dictatorship. Sweet act intact, to outsiders protecting from unstable cop. Financial strain, $2,000 lawyer. Jane eyed transfer, longer commute, less seniority. Marriage strained, snaps over minor. Stretched by watch, judgment, lost friends. Haley's genius, misery forcing doubt, isolation. Breakthrough, Walsh's questions targeted insider knowledge, briefed on unreported details. Jane, set trap. Prove dirty, Operation Fishing Expedition, borrowed evidence room gear, if wrong dangerous. Surgeon-like focus. Plan, Sean meets Walsh coffee, concerned husband, wire worn. If slip safe exposes. Monday called, worried about Jane's stress, HOA. Walsh eager, too much. Detectives busy, yet time? Metro diner, innocent start. Coffee bought, sympathy on troubles. Then, surveillance? What camera? Described SC-4400, nod. Law enforcement grade. Jane considered department involvement. Unreported model, private brief. Not done. Heard HOA meeting. Haley out for you. Jane mentioned activists, anti-police. New unreported details. Fishing Jane's cases, relations. Financial crimes, see disputes, escalate false accusations. Destroy cop career via complaints. Recording burned. New coordination schedules. Jane late Thursdays. Hard home alone hostile. Unshared schedule. Surveillance, informants. Home, listened recording. Jane Dark. Not corrupt. Partner with personal knowledge watcher. Called Morrison. Meet on corruption. 2 hours office. Recording played. Morrison. Disbelief to determination. Internal affairs. Find how dirty. Confrontation next morning. Morrison lured Walsh routine review. Instead, Morrison, IA investigator. Recording. Walsh's voice spilling secrets. Breakdown. Slumped. Confessed. She'd helped gambling debts. $73,000 unforgiving. Lisa promised fix if info on Stone's cases schedule. Lisa, not Haley, unraveled all. Morrison ran, Haley Sanders. Fabricated March 2020. Fooled agencies. Federal Detective Lisa Cooper. Chicago PD missing February. 2020 after, 347,000. Evidence room drug seizure vanish. Stage Lake, Michigan accident. Abandoned car. Suicide note. Assumed dead. Walsh details partnership, not first hideout. 4 years, 3 states. Springfield, IL, 12 months. Cedar Rapids, EA, Partorins, Normal, EL, Zexin. Meadowbrook, 12. Built trust, authority extracted via fines. Fake projects. Total, 2.1 minimum plus original theft. Romantic, escape non-extradition post-launder. Walsh helped research Jane, procedures. Suggested Meadowbrook, border jurisdictions, monitor Ellie-san suspicion. Evening, emergency meeting, 47 families. Community center. Lisa's attack site now exposure. Jane explained. 4 years helpful. Our fugitive manipulation. Marcus notebook surveillance proof. Linda cried. Manipulated, unwitting destroyer. Finished confront Lisa? House empty professionally. Escape activated during meeting. Marcus basement, files 3 neighborhoods, photos, info. Chilling. How many watched? Other fugitives as neighbors? FBI agent Torres arrived 6 hours post-disappearance. Task force hunting 4 years. Center command. Agents equipment. Interviews. Lisa sophisticated identity thief. Infiltrator. You first exposed pre-exit. Brief. Cycle 12-16 months. Infiltrate. Manipulate. Extract. Pattern. Helpful HOA. Dependencies via crises solutions. Money via fraud. Victims 340 families. 2.1 meter plus theft. Psychological predator destroys community's profit. Lisa fought. 3 hours in, Linda home for docs. Lisa waiting, taser. Don't scream. Help escape, no hurt. March to abandoned center. Closed renovation 6 months. Barricaded, hostage, demands, believed manipulation out. Federal Swift, Torres SWAT cord, phone contact. Cornered, still magic. Don't understand. Protecting from corruption. Stone investigated months abuse. Gathering evidence rogue cop. Linda, masterclass manipulation. 2 hours convinced victim. Jane intimidated, camera corrupt frame. Convincing calm, doubted eyes. But saw mask slip, refused. Marcus intel, layout knowledge, exits, utilities, weak spots. Barricade main, service corridor, kitchen, vent entry behind. 46 families parking lot, breath held. Walsh coop cell. Escape plans, assets, pressures. Terrified poor, foster, no security. Break, threaten, broke. 890K offshore, crypto. Boise escape, identities, beach house. Profile accurate. Torres asset forfeiture threat. Penny stripped, prison debts. Cracked. Can't! Mine, earned. Sheep deserved fleeced. Mask gone, contempt. Used crack. Let go, discuss financial. Lied. Keep, lose all fees, forfeits. Linda escape rant, unfair seizure. Loosened zip ties. SWAT breach service. Linda covered table, agents surround. Capture anticlimactic. Surrendered sweet. Call lawyer. Custody. Last manip. Mistake. Corruption hid destroy community. Stone tip bigger fish cover blown. Torres question. Elaborate immunity? Truth or game? Pulled Sean. Encrypted files computer. Neighbors years, profiles, financials. Larger up? Lisa charge or puppet? Haunted. Other communities helpful predators? The standoff at the abandoned community. Center became the climax of Meadowbrook Heights nightmare. With Linda held hostage, the air was thick with tension. Federal agents swarmed the parking lot. Their tactical gear a stark contrast to the suburban serenity. Agent Torres, a seasoned FBI veteran with a no-nonsense demeanor, took charge. his voice calm over the radio as he coordinated with local SWAT. "We have a barricaded subject with a hostage. Non-lethal entry preferred. Maintain perimeter." Inside, Lisa Cooper, formerly Haley Sanders, clung to her manipulative playbook, even as her world collapsed. Over the phone line to Torres, her voice retained that honeyed reasonableness that had fooled so many. "Agent, you have it all wrong. I'm not the criminal here. Commander Stone has been abusing her authority for months. I was gathering evidence to protect these families from a rogue cop. If you let me go, I can prove it." It was a desperate bid, framing herself as the hero in a narrative of corruption. Linda, bound but resilient, later recounted the ordeal like a survivor's testimony. It was like being trapped with a spider weaving its web right in front of you. She spent those 2 hours trying to rewrite reality. "Linda, you're the real victim here," she'd say, her eyes wide with feigned empathy. "Jane's been using police resources to spy on neighbors, intimidate anyone who questions her. That camera? Planted by her corrupt buddies to frame me. The innocent community leader." She was so calm, so logical, it almost worked. For a few minutes, I started questioning what I'd seen at the meeting, the cold fury behind her smile. But Linda had glimpsed the real Lisa during the HOA confrontation. The mask's slip had been enough. I refused to engage. I just nodded, waited for my chance. Her defiance was key. It bought time for the authorities. Marcus, the handyman-turned-hero, provided the blueprint to end it. His months of maintenance work on the center gave him intimate knowledge. "The main entrance is barricaded with old folding tables and chairs," he told the SWAT team, sketching a quick diagram on a notepad. "But there's a service corridor from the kitchen, runs under the floor. The ventilation system connects. It's wide enough for a team to crawl through. Weak spot in the east wall if you need to breach." His intel was gold. Without it, the operation could have dragged on, risking Linda's safety. The 46 remaining families gathered in the parking lot, a sea of anxious faces under the floodlights. Whispers rippled. "Is Linda okay? How did we miss this?" It was a community reckoning, bonds forged in shared betrayal. Sean stood with Jane, his arm around her, feeling the weight of it all. "We exposed her, but at what cost?" he murmured. Jane, ever the professional, squeezed his hand. "We're ending it tonight." From his holding cell, Walsh's cooperation proved invaluable. Patching through to Torres, he spilled more. Lisa's escape plans include a hidden stash in the center's basement, cash, fake IDs, a burner phone, but her real weakness is money. Growing up in foster care, bouncing homes, she equates security with wealth. Threatened to take it all, asset forfeiture, liens on everything. She'll crack. He revealed the $890,000 in offshore accounts and crypto, tied to a Boise escape with new identities in a beach house. We were supposed to vanish next month. Torres exploited it masterfully. Over the phone. "Lisa, federal forfeiture laws mean every cent you stole, gone. Offshore, traced and seized. You'll die broke, in debt to the system you gamed." Her composure shattered. "You can't. That's my money! I earned it protecting these idiots from themselves. They were sheep begging to be led." The entitlement poured out, a torrent of rage revealing the predator beneath. That emotional fracture allowed negotiation. "Release Linda and we discuss arrangements," Torres lied smoothly. "Hold her and it's all lost to fees and forfeits." Distracted by rants on unfair seizures and constitutional rights for white-collar pros, Lisa paced, giving Linda her moment. Quietly, Linda worked the zip ties loose, heart pounding. SWAT breached via the vent and service corridor, silent as shadows. Linda, sensing them, rolled behind an overturned table for cover. Agents flooded in, weapons trained. "FBI, hands up!" Lisa froze, taser dropping. Surrender was swift. The sweet persona returned. "I want my lawyer." But the mask was irreparably cracked. In custody, en route to holding, Lisa's final ploy. "Torres, huge mistake. The corruption I hid? It'll destroy this place. Stone's just the start. Bigger fish, and now they know cover's blown." Torres pressed, but she clammed up. Immunity and protection first. Bluff or truth? Unclear. Post-capture. Torres pulled Sean aside. Encrypted files on her computer, detailed. Profiles on your neighbors, back years. Financials suggest bigger network. Was Lisa boss or puppet? The question lingered, a shadow over victory. As agents processed Lisa's house, Sean wondered how many other helpful neighbors lurked in suburbs. Weaving webs? The community exhaled. Linda emerged shaken but unbroken, hugged by families. "We did it together," she said. But the night raised deeper fears. If one fugitive hid so well, who else? 8 months after her capture, Lisa Cooper's federal trial in downtown Chicago became a media frenzy, shining a harsh light on community manipulation crimes nationwide. The courtroom buzzed with victims from all 4 targeted suburbs: Springfield, Cedar Rapids, Normal, and Meadowbrook Heights. Families traveled hundreds of miles, faces etched with resolve, to witness justice against the woman who'd shattered their trust and emptied their pockets. Sean and Jane sat in the gallery, hands clasped, a mix of vindication and lingering unease. Lisa faced 22 federal charges: identity theft, money laundering, fraud, kidnapping, impersonating a federal officer. Her stolen funds bought top lawyers, who painted her as a circumstantial victim, a fallen detective driven by department pressures. But the prosecution, led by a sharp assistant U.S. attorney, dismantled it with irrefutable evidence. Agent Torres took the stand first, presenting financial trails: $2.1 million laundered through fake HOA projects across states. She infiltrated as a savior, extracted as a thief, he said, flashing charts of the 12-16-month cycles. Victims testified next, former neighbors, recounting identical tactics. Sweet entry. Crises manufactured, solutions helpful but costly. She mediated my fence dispute. Then fined me for non-compliance, she invented, one Springfield resident recalled, voice trembling. Marcus's testimony sealed the surveillance angle. Her notebook, every request for info on the Matthews family, schedules, habits. It was systematic, like a spy op. He displayed pages proving obsession with Jane. Linda's account was gut-wrenching, dual perspective, powerful. As accomplice, she made me doubt friends. As hostage, she rewrote reality. Your victim. Jane corrupt. Every kindness calculated for control. Jury leaned in as she described the standoff. I saw the predator, not neighbor. Walsh's evidence damning. Researched Meadowbrook months pre-move. Property. Jurisdictions, demographics. Needed multi-jurisdiction for LE access sans flags. Targeted stable families, trusting, pay fines, sans fight. Romantic betrayal added sting. Exploited my debts, but I chose betrayal. Lawyer's error, put Lisa on stand. Betting charm sways jury like neighbors. Disaster. Boring lives craved drama, I provided. Naive to not see exchange, natural selection. Jury recoiled at entitlement. Victims as sheep, abuse as therapy. Judge Harrison, 30-year veteran, stunned by remorselessness. Sentencing, psychological exploitation danger. Robbed not just money, trust in neighbors, leaders, judgment. 22 years, no parole. 2.1 meter restitution to 340 victims. Lifetime leadership ban. Walsh. 3 years prison, 5 probation. Pension lost, career ruined. Tears, betrayed oath colleagues. Exploited weakness, but my choice. Lifetime amends. Treatment, 73K restitution, minor versus shame. Impact rippled. Community Protection Act. Signed 9 months. Post, background checks for HOA leaders. Police curricula include case. Universities study manipulation, resilience. Meadowbrook teaching tool. Prison irony, reputation preceded. Even inmates shun family targeters. Alone in cafeteria, laundry, rase. Manipulation fails, we're all savvy. Powerless justice for controller. The aftermath of Lisa's trial brought a slow but profound healing to Meadowbrook Heights. The community, once fractured by suspicion and isolation, began to rebuild on foundations of transparency and mutual trust. It wasn't easy. Scars from the manipulation ran deep. Neighbors who'd been unwitting pawns grappled with guilt, while others, like Sean and Jane, navigated the emotional toll of betrayal. But from the ashes of deception rose a stronger bond, one forged in adversity. Linda, transformed by her experiences, stepped up as the new HOA president. Elected on a platform of radical openness, she vowed, no more secrets. Every decision documented, expenditures voted, actions recallable. The first order? a full audit of finances, uncovering Lisa's siphoned funds, thousands returned via restitution. Monthly town halls became mandatory, not performative, ensuring voices heard. "We learned the hard way," Linda said at her inauguration. Trust earned through actions, not smiles. Marcus, the quiet handyman, channeled his skills into positive change. He organized a legitimate neighborhood watch, not surveillance, but mutual aid. "No badges, no walkies spying," he emphasized. Instead, volunteer shifts helping elderly with maintenance. Community gardens where families planted together. It's about building, not watching. He told a group one sunny afternoon, dirt under his nails as kids laughed nearby. The gardens bloomed as metaphors, roots intertwining, growth from shared soil. Mrs. Patterson, the elderly widow who'd been an early ally, started a support group for manipulation survivors. "I've seen cons in my day," she shared at the first meeting, her voice steady. "But this? Personal." It grew, drawing members from all 4 victimized communities via online forums. Sessions explored gaslighting tactics, rebuilding judgment. "We share stories to spot patterns," she explained. "Knowledge is our shield." For Jane, professional vindication came swiftly. The FBI commended her for exposing the operation, leading to promotion. Head of a new community liaison division at Metro PD. "Your instincts saved more than one neighborhood," the chief said at the ceremony. But personally, the ordeal tested her. "I questioned everything, my career, our home," she confided to Sean one evening. "Yet it strengthened resolve. Now I bridge gaps, prevent repeats." Sean's classroom became a microcosm of recovery. He wove the story into lessons, subtly as cautionary history. "Power corrupts when unchecked," he'd say, eyes on a student spinning tales. Teens, ever perceptive, dubbed him the detective teacher. Outside school, he documented the saga anonymously online, anonymized for safety. For other communities, he told Jane, their marriage, strained by snaps and stress, emerged resilient. Date nights resumed, deeper conversations about trust. The original mailbox stayed, plaque added, "In memory of trust restored." A reminder, vigilance key to authentic bonds. 1 year on, new families arrived. Mrs. Patterson greeted them. "This community's learned genuine help is exploitation. Safer here, we protect by choice. Honest relations, shared values. Stories spread cautionary, trust appearances. But proof, communities defeat predators united, transparent, undivided by fear.